Let's get into it, of the many different and varied ways we've asked you about what may well happen next. I suppose as a start of a 10, when might there be clarity for you and everybody else as to what is going to happen next?
I don't really know and have an answer in terms of clarity, but what I would say on behalf of that is it needs to happen very, very quickly, because there's such a big rebuilding job needed of all aspects of the first team football area. So it does have to happen very, very quickly. Once that final game on Saturday is played, you know, things have to move at quite a hectic space, because you think you have plenty of time over the course of the summer, but when you're trying to recruit as many players will be required, and also do other different things, planning on pre-season, which, you know, I'm stuck into at the moment as well. There's a lot to do in a short period of time.
So to what extent can that happen, such as formulating of a retained list that you see fit, and also planning for pre-season when ultimately there is some kind of question mark as to whether it's going to push the green light on everything?
Yeah, spot on. I mean, I've prepared a retained list that I think of with the group of players that have been at the disposal of me. So I've got that ready to go. I've been involved in discussions with regards pre-season and put a couple of matches into the programme on top of some of the matches that were already there. Have a start date in terms of when the players will return, and other different things along those lines. So speaking to the recruitment team here, watching players live and through footage, and speaking with the agents. But what I have said, and it's best to probably get it out here in the public domain, is any agents who are coming to us with players with an injury history, don't bother, because I won't be putting up with that again, that's for sure.
No, I can imagine that you don't. Is there and I hate to sort of drill down on the detail, but a sort of a formal time after Saturday, right, this date you will be sitting down with the board, Tony Stewart, etc., and it's just thrashed out?
Well, no, as I've said all along, I'm in daily dialogue with the chairman about various different things, and he knows what my thoughts are on certain aspects, and there's other things that I need to talk to him about as well. So there isn't a time scale, but obviously what I would say is for me to get this club back to where it should be and where the fans deserve it to be for the sake of our supporters. As I said, it has to be done very, very quickly once this season is put to bed on Saturday at 5 o'clock.
Just on the sort of, yes, health and fitness type of thing, recruit players that don't have injury problems, but do you and Rotherham United have a plan in place to sort of enhance the sort of setup for the medical side of things? Because your predecessor, his predecessor, and the one before that all spoke of just needing more help.
Yeah, there has to be a plan in place, because as I've said many occasions, if this is repeated next season, no matter that the club's down a level, it'll go again. And that's a horrendous thing to be thinking about. So I have got ideas and plans that I want to put into place to make sure that doesn't happen, and that involves a strong pre-season, different training methods, recruitment of robust players who have a great history of playing a number of games, Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday. So there's lots of pieces of the jigsaw that I think I can put into place to make sure that cannot happen. Now, what I can't legislate for is, even if you make lots of changes like that and you get someone who does a break or a ligament injury, an impact injury, those type of things. But what you certainly can prevent and certainly reduce from the crazy numbers we have is soft tissue injuries.
Are you, from the discussions that you've been having then, are you kind of encouraged, because you're here at Rotherham United at a time when they've been talking about reviews, and it's not just necessarily about the football side of things, it's about everything to do with the football club, that there is a plan for the structure, if you like, that goes with it to help the first team?
Without a doubt, there has to be. Even when you've had successful seasons, you look at things and see how you can improve again. But when you've had the season that this football club's just coming out of, there has to be a full top to bottom, nothing left unturned in terms of reviewing and how it can be improved, and there's so many aspects that need to be improved to get this club back where it has. It's had some great days in the Championship, you know, and that's what the fans deserve. They're a terrific set of supporters, and the people behind the scenes, and want to give them that, and we can get this club rebuilt and get going again and moving forward, and get out of this horrible season that it's been this year.
In terms of the weekend, the nuts and bolts, is there anybody else that's injured for Saturday at Wycombe?
We've got a little issue with Manny. I can't pronounce his surname, I'm sorry, it's a difficult one for a Geordie. So yeah, Manny, we've got a little issue with him, but we've got Benson and James back for selection, which is a boost. And so yeah, we wait right till the last minute. But as I've kept saying since I walked through the door, don't be surprised if there's changes to the team. I mean, I've gone through coaching manuals like you wouldn't believe, writing down different teams and different types of tactics for games, and they have to be ripped up because I've had a knock on the door to say certain players aren't available. So, but yeah, let's see what comes when I've got to do the team sheet an hour and a half before kick-off on Saturday.
Yeah, and that's kind of part of the problem, isn't it? That yeah, we can joke about it now because there's a game left to go, but throughout the course of the matches that you've been in here, whatever was in the mind, managers don't like changes a couple of minutes into the game, so they're not going to like them on the Saturday morning of the game, are they? It's a huge issue.
And it's another big factor. That's a great point you've made, but also I would say probably 80 to 90% of my substitutions haven't been tactically related. They've been with players who are on limited number of minutes or someone who's gone down injured. So you're then forced into substitutions that you probably didn't want to make at that moment in the game or whatever. So yeah, it's really difficult, and that's why it has to be spot on next season. So as a manager, you can change the way the course of a game's going. If you're behind or you're not playing as well as you would like, you can change it with your substitutions, or if you want to protect how you're playing and get some fresh impetus on with a player of the same ilk in the same position. And I haven't really been given that opportunity on many occasions since I've been here, so that leaves you a little bit restricted at times.
Just finally, there is a game to be played. Wycombe then, what's your assessment as to their state of play right now?
Well, I've listened to the manager, who a lot of respect for Michael, and he's done well wherever he's been. I think he probably would have went in there, and by the sounds of what he said after that defeat at Lincoln, he's disappointed where they're going to probably finish in the league. So it's very similar to what the players are here. It sounds and looks like the Wycombe players are playing for their future and whether they want to be a part of what he's trying to do there. So I'm expecting a really tough game, but you know, we in definitely the last two games, two or three games, the Luton, Orient and Reading, we've seen some green shoots. We've made some good opportunities in the game. We've played some good football. You know, yeah, we've made one or two errors with certain goals. You know, the first half against Luton, we showed them too much respect. The first 15 minutes of the second half against Reading were a bit loose, but apart from that, we've created some good opportunities and played some good football, played at a high tempo. So we'd like to continue that and see if we can get a positive result and just have like a nice feeling to the end of the season, be part of a winning dressing room, but also give the fans just something to, you know, be positive about going into the summer.